Larry Storch never thought F Troop would end the way it did. Not because he was naive about Hollywood, but because by the time the axe fell, the show was still winning. The ratings were strong. The audience was loyal. His character had become a cultural fixture. And yet one quiet morning, the entire thing vanished with a single sheet of paper fed through a fax machine. No meeting, no warning, no explanation that made sense. Just a line that read, "Production ceased effective immediately." That moment didn't just cancel a television show. It carved a permanent scar into Larry Storch's relationship with the industry. And for the next 35 years, he fought back in the only way he knew how. In secret. With words. Larry was born on January 8, 1923, in a cramped Bronx apartment where privacy didn't exist and survival was a daily negotiation. His father had once been a stockbroker with a future. Then the market collapsed in 1929, and that future evaporated almost overnight. One day there was money. The next there were $47 left to the family's name. Larry's father drove a battered taxi for 16 hours a day. His mother worked the phones by day and sold costume jewelry door to door by night. They all lived together, including Larry's grandmother, who spoke only Yiddish and told stories with sweeping gestures that turned dinner into theater. Larry didn't know it then, but he was already studying performance. By the time he was 10, the Bronx streets were his classroom. Dozens of languages collided every day. Irish gangs, Italian shopkeepers, Jewish families clinging to survival. Larry stood outside grocery stores mimicking accents, voices, rhythms. He wasn't mocking, he was learning. One of those impressions nearly got him killed. A mobster he copied didn't find it funny and chased him 6 blocks with a baseball bat. Larry escaped with scraped knees and 37 cents in tips clenched in his fist. That character would later become one of his most famous routines. The audience would never know it was born from fear. Poverty forced him to grow up fast. He lied about his age to work in a bowling alley, resetting pins until midnight. He dropped out of school when survival demanded it. He studied joke books like textbooks, timing, rhythm, silence. He learned when to wait and when to strike. Comedy wasn't joy to him yet. It was a tool. When he finally tasted the stage in the Catskills, it came with bruises. He stole a microphone one night when a performer stepped away and delivered a flawless Humphrey Bogart routine to a roaring crowd. Backstage, he was punched in the face for it. Still, the manager fed him for free. Larry learned another lesson. Comedy paid, but it always exacted a price. The war nearly ended everything. Drafted into the Navy, he worked brutal hours handling torpedoes aboard the USS Proteus. During the Battle of Okinawa, a kamikaze strike killed sailors around him. Shrapnel missed his head by inches. He lost hearing in one ear and never stopped replaying that moment in his mind. That's where his timing changed. He learned how quickly everything could vanish. He learned how to stay sharp under pressure. After the war, he came home with nothing but scars and stubbornness. He bombed on stage. He was pelted with peanuts. Then he slipped on a banana peel by accident and brought the house down. Physical comedy saved him. Again. Hollywood noticed him, then punished him for being himself. Executives told him his accent was too ethnic, too Jewish, too real. He practiced acceptable English in alleyways using cracked mirrors. He swallowed humiliation to survive. He became famous doing impressions, then famous for offending people with them. He crossed lines. Sometimes he paid dearly for it. Sometimes it made him a star. By the time F Troop arrived in 1965, Larry Storch was exhausted, experienced, and dangerous in the best way. He auditioned by playing 7 soldiers in a single take. The executives rewrote the role for him on the spot. Corporal Agarn became the heartbeat of the show. The cowardly soldier with the explosive voice and perfect timing. Oh boy, echoed into American living rooms every week. By season 2, over 30 million people were watching. His pay tripled. His face was everywhere. But Larry never trusted the success. He'd seen too much. He pushed hard. He rewrote scenes. He smuggled props. He demanded authenticity even when it caused friction. He fought for better representation. Sometimes he won. Sometimes he didn't. He later said his biggest regret was not walking away when he should have taken a stand. Then came the cancellation. Despite outperforming shows that would later become legends, F Troop was killed for what the studio claimed was a minor budget issue. $3,000, $97 per episode. Larry didn't believe it for a second. He believed the show was collateral damage in a corporate reshuffle. Art crushed by indifference. When he demanded answers, he was escorted off the lot. Residuals vanished through loopholes. The show made millions in syndication. Larry saw nothing. He pawned personal belongings to survive. The stress sent him to the hospital with a bleeding ulcer. He joked about it on stage later, but the bitterness never left. He sued. He won almost nothing. He lost everything that mattered. And yet something strange happened after the betrayal. Larry never stopped writing F Troop. For 35 years, long after the industry had moved on, he sat alone in apartments, hotel rooms, senior facilities, and kept writing scripts. Not for money, not for revival deals, for himself. 47 scripts in total. Some were funny, some were angry. One had a Garn traveling through time. One had him dying a hero. They weren't pitches. They were conversations with a world that had cut him off mid-sentence. His final script was written 3 months before his death. It ended quietly. No punchline, just acceptance. Some adventures never end. They just fade to black. That line wasn't about television. It was about him. Larry Storch lived long enough to see his industry change, forget him, rediscover him, and misunderstand him again. He made mistakes. He hurt people. He stood up when it cost him. He stayed silent when it cost others. He was brilliant. He was infuriating. He was human. When he died in 2022 at age 99, people laughed at the idea of him still fighting, still writing, still refusing to let the story end on someone else's terms. But that was Larry Storch's entire life. A man who learned early that survival meant persistence. That comedy could save you, betray you, and still be the only thing worth holding on to. Hollywood canceled F Troop. Larry never accepted it.